I think the number one thing people should stop doing if they want to look fit and be healthy is eliminate alcohol 100%.
Yeah.
Worst thing they can possibly do for their bodies, for their overall, for their skin, for their looks, for everything, and their sleep.
Alcohol is poison. It's straight up just shouldn't be drank. I don't drink it at all anymore. It's empty calories. It makes you feel like shit. Speaking of sleep, like it's going to make you sleep like shit. I work with a lot of women in perimenopause and menopause. It will make your symptoms 100 times worse. Like that is a proven scientific fact. If you want to feel better and healthier, I would say one of the first things you should do is maybe not even give up, but just lighten how much you are currently drinking.
What's your take on intermittent fasting for women?
I don't have enough information to give my opinion on that. However, I personally am not someone that would do that.
How about alcohol and body composition?
And this is a hard, unpopular opinion for a lot of people, I'm sure. Alcohol is poison. It's straight up just shouldn't be drank. I don't drink it at all anymore. It's empty calories. It makes you feel like shit. Speaking of sleep, like it's going to make you sleep like shit. I work with a lot of women in perimenopause and menopause. It will make your symptoms 100 times worse. Like that is a proven scientific fact. If you want to feel better and healthier, I would say one of the first things you should do is maybe not even give up, but just lighten how much you are currently drinking.
Yeah, listen, you're preaching to the converted. I don't drink at all. To me, it's
Nice.
the biggest waste of calories ever. I'd rather eat than drink any day of the
Same.
week.
Yeah.
And what it does to your skin and to your body is horrendous. It also ages you 20 years.
I
I
agree.
mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? People I look at who are like 45 who are drinkers versus not, massive difference.
Yeah.
Massive difference. You know, the bloating, just in terms of this overall, it's the worst thing you can do. Like
I
I would say,
agree.
like smoke a joint instead of
Yeah.
honestly, than take it like drinking a glass of wine. I mean,
It's,
I'm not saying do either one, but if
yeah.
you're gonna pick your poison, I'd rather you pick that. In my opinion.
Yeah, although I will say, as someone that is California sober, marijuana is not poison, alcohol is.
I was gonna say, well, I was gonna say that too. I don't think it's poison at all, but it's how you consume it though, right? Like if you're smoking it, it's not so great for you. If you're vaping it, it's not so great for you. If you eat it, I guess it's much better for you. Or take a gummy, that's way better for you.
Yeah, but
But
then you have to look at like sometimes they put flavorings or something in those too. I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of what you consume, how can you take out just like small things that can make you feel better in general? So for me, my first thing was alcohol. I'm never going to give up a chocolate chip cookie, but I will give up alcohol.
oh my God, I could not agree. By the way, if there's more calories and empty shit in a glass of wine, it's all sugar. You're basically drinking sugar
Yeah,
versus having a chocolate. It's like so much more satiating. But I guess
I
there
know.
are people out there who don't care about food and they like alcohol. Not me. That's not me. But you know,
But also, it's like very important to note that like there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, well, I just drink one glass or I just have like this. What is that? That's not big of a deal." And it's like, "No, you're right. It's not that big of a deal, but that one glass of wine will still interrupt your REM sleep. It will still hinder you the next day. Even if you think it does nothing for you or it actually like makes you relax, it actually does the opposite in your brain." So, important to note.
oh yeah, I think the number one thing people should stop doing if they want to look fit and be healthy is eliminate alcohol 100%.
Yeah.
Worst thing they can possibly do for their bodies, for their overall, for their skin, for their looks, for everything, and their sleep. And also that people don't even realize that like you may think that oh I'm not sleeping well, but that's what that you end up eating more because of it. You end up making bad choices because of it. You're not like the ripple effect is so
Yeah.
terrible.
Hmm.
Okay, one more question, and then we're gonna like wrap. Mobility. Let's talk about mobility. How important is mobility um, in comparison to, let's say, the weight training, the cardio, all these things? Because I think that like as we get older, our mobility, our flexibility definitely gets worse.
100%. Mobility is in all of my training, and I really just add it within the warm up and actually like in the strength programs. So it doesn't necessarily have to be this like extra thing, although it can be. Mobility is just the ability to move freely within your joints. So if we think about strength training is for our muscles, mobility is for our joints. So, for example, sitting down on the floor and standing up. Putting your arms overhead and not having to arch your back to get your arms there, being able to twist to the side without your lower back hurting. It's just to be able to like move a little bit more freely within your body. This is obviously very important as we age because we want to be able to, if we do fall, get back up on our own. Be with our kids on the ground as they, are growing up. Also be able to like take care of our own selves, like wipe your own ass at the end of the day.
Right.
And so as long as you are making sure that you add that within your training, like
How?
within
What
your
are some
training
way?
session. Sorry.
What are some good mobility exercises?
Yeah. So I like to look at mobility from a joint by joint perspective. So we think about our major joints that we use on a day-to-day basis in a lot of exercises: our ankles, our hips, our shoulders, wrists, and spine, really, I would say are like the biggest ones. So for ankles, that's something that you can do a passive squat. I'm sure you've heard of it as like a yogi squat. A lot of people in Asia sit in these squats all day long. You'll see babies sit in a squat. So it's just heels and toes out and just sitting down.
Also,
You
guys, you
can,
could Google it. You can Google what a passive squat is,
yeah,
and that's really good for your mobility.
yes. So that is hips and ankles. You can kind of do both of those at the same time. You can kind of rock in and out of that. I do it while I'm watching TV or I'm on my phone or something easily while I'm doing something else. Really great one for hips is called a shin box switch. You can look that up, but it's basically 90 degrees on either side, and you're just rotating your knees back and forth. So you sit on your butt, your legs are at 90-90, and you just shift your knees, but keep your heels and butt on the ground. This is great for internal and external rotation of the hips. So a lot of times we are moving forward, but it's nice to be able to move the hip joint side to side and around. So this is a great one for the hips. You can also do what's called the world's greatest stretch or runner's lunge with a little rotation. So you're in a high plank position, your foot's outside of your hand, bring one foot outside of your hand, and then just kind of rotate your arm up towards the sky. So again, Google world's greatest stretch or runner's lunge reach. So great for hips. Also, with that rotation, we're getting into our T-spine. A lot of us sit on our phones or sit in a chair all day and we're rounded forward. We don't have a lot of lateral, like any spinal flexion, extension, and rotation. So anything that has to do with your spine would be really great. I could do it right here while I'm sitting with you, just kind of rotating in my chair, moving side to side. Shoulders is another really great one. Again, with that roundedness of the shoulders. So instead of just pulling the shoulder blades back down and back, we can actually get into the joints by using a broom or a PVC pipe, moving it back behind us and back in front of us, maybe a band or something like that. So lots of different ways to move around your body. But I think mobility is really, it's about moving freely, but it's also about enjoying the process of finding the way your bodies can and maybe cannot move just yet.
Hmm. How often should we be working on mobility?
You can do it every day for 1 to 5 minutes a day. Like I said, you can do it while you're listening to this podcast. You can do it while you're watching TV, waiting for water to boil. I don't know. But I can do some wrist rolls right now, like while I'm just with you right now. So I would say absolutely every day if you can. If you remember to do a minute or two, that's awesome. And then also adding it before your workouts will be helpful to make sure that your movements actually feel a lot better too.
Do you think it makes a difference when we work out, morning, night, afternoon?
It depends on the person, as always. For example, if someone is having trouble sleeping, I would not recommend that they work out past like 4 p.m. So that is someone that I would be like, all right, let's try and work out in the morning or at lunchtime. For someone like me, need to work out before 8 a.m. because that is the time that I have allotted and that's where I feel the best. So it really just depends on the person and what works best for them.
How about motivation? When people aren't motivated, how do you motivate people to actually stick to a plan and kind of be consistent with it?
Yeah, so when we think about motivation, we think about intrinsic versus extrinsic. Someone like maybe me or you have a lot of intrinsic motivation because we know how great movement makes us feel. We know we get the endorphins. We know that we can lift heavy and feel really good afterwards. But a lot of people, always are searching for that motivation, but they don't actually have it within them just yet. So they might need some sort of external or extrinsic motivation to get there. So, for example, it could be something like you join a program, you work with a coach to get some accountability, you go to classes, you get a new workout outfit. People always are searching for something, but no one's ever motivated all the time. Even though we might both be intrinsically motivated, I sometimes do not want to go to the gym, but I still go because I know that it's going to make the rest of my day feel better. And I know that it's just like doing a hard thing when you don't want to do it. You're going to do it anyway because it sucks, but on the other side, it's going to make you feel better. So
No, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, finding that little piece of like that extrinsic motivation is super helpful for people that are always searching for it. And then once they get to that other side, like that 3-6 month mark, they'll feel it so much more internally as well.
I agree. I mean, I always say don't do it even when you don't want to, and never
Yeah,
rely on motivation as your reason for doing anything.
of
Think
course.
about how you're going to feel afterwards, not how you feel before.
Yeah.
Right. And on that note, I'm going to go for my walk because I have to, even though I don't want to, and I'm super not motivated, I know I'll feel really good afterwards. Okay.
100%. I love that.
So thank you so much, Tara, for coming on the show. I appreciate it. You've been great. And thank you, guys. Tara, tell us where people can find more information if they want more fitness advice.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the things as my first and last name, lots of A's, lots of R's, Tara LaFerrara. I also have a fitness app called Broadzit where we do strength and mobility workouts, and it's a program you can follow along with, Progressive Overload and RPE.
Thank you so much.